Hello, my name is Evan Brasseur, and most of you already know who I am. If you don't, I am the data field collection technician for asset management, and I just wanted to make a video on the new application I developed for viewing the progress of the small culvert inspections and re-inspections so that you can track what percent complete your district is at, as well as seeing the statewide percentage complete. And I built in a couple custom tools that we're going to go over. I'll just give you a quick run through on everything, and we are recording this so that you can come back to this video anytime that you want and use it as a reference. So I will get right into it here. First thing I want to let you guys know is this application is set up like all of the other applications that you're familiar with that we've created for the maintenance inventories. The features are scale dependent. So if you turn on your layers tool down here, you'll notice that all the layers are grayed out except for the ones that we want you to see from a larger scale. But as you zoom in, you can tell inside your layer list window that features will start to turn on. And as they are highlighted in your layer list, you should be able to see them on your map. So if you don't see something on your map, one, try to zoom in and you should be able to see it show up as you zoom in, or two, open up your layer list widget like I did here and make sure that it's turned on and make sure that it's highlighted. So now all of them are highlighted, so they should all be turning on. There we go. Okay, and second, we can go over the custom queries that I set up. So your query widget is going to be down here in the corner. If you want to click on that, it's going to bring up the query window, and I have a few different options that you can run through a automated process that I set up. So the first one's pretty standard for the Culvert inventory web maps. If you have a particular PID that you want to zoom to, you can go ahead and type that PID into this query, and it'll take you right to that area. That's pretty standard in all of our small culvert inventory web maps. The really custom ones that I wanted to focus on, and basically is kind of the main reason for this application, is for you guys to be able to find the incomplete fields and also invalid data within some of these fields that have been populated over the time of reinspection. First one here is going to be the small culverts inspection complete incomplete fields. So what this layer is showing here is these are all of the culverts that you have said that you have completed the reinspection on, but there are fields within that feature that you did not completely fill out. So whether it's barrel separation, or it's outlet sediment, or stuff like that, all them fields have to be filled out at some point in time, and this is a tool for you to use so that it'll zoom to and highlight all of the features within your district, so that you can update them fields. So if we go into this, it's going to automatically run as soon as you click on that button, because the way that I set it up is it's highlighting every single culvert statewide that is missing fields within it. I couldn't isolate it to a certain district because you may have a district field that hasn't been populated. So if there's, for some reason, a district value that hasn't been put in there, then it wouldn't get picked up in this query. So I wanted to make sure that every single feature was looked at and identified for missing fields. So as you can see, it zooms all the way out statewide because it knows that it has features all over the state that are missing actual data within these fields. It gives us a total count, 4,959, and in the window below is a list of all of them. Okay, so what you can do here is you can either zoom directly to your district and start fixing them as they're highlighted, right? So we can come right down here and see that all of these highlighted culverts are missing data one way or another. Like if we click on just one of these, for example, and you look in the attribute table and we scroll down, we will find missing data. So nothing was entered for inlet good GPS, nothing was entered for inlet presence of plants. The comments, that don't matter. I don't have it set within there because everybody's not going to have a comment, so that's fine. But the actual structural or the condition fields need to be filled out. Outlet extension, so there's nothing filled out for there. Outlet separation, nothing there. So all of them fields need to be filled out at some point, and this is going to allow you to identify where all of these features are. So once all of those culverts are highlighted, there's a couple different things you can do with them. You can export them out to an Excel spreadsheet, or you can view them in your table below. So this is going to take a second because it's reading a lot of data here. So you can see as I click on this option right here, this little toolbar, feature actions, export to CSV file. So that's going to allow you to export that into an Excel spreadsheet. Or you can view them in an attribute table, so that's going to bring all this data within our attribute table down here on the bottom. And then you can sort ascending, and you can kind of segregate which ones of these features fall within your district itself. And then you'd be able to click on that row, and it should take you right to your feature that you're interested in. And if you want to clear your results so that you can use another query, go ahead and just come down to the bottom of this list, remove results. And that'll wipe everything out so that you can go on back here. And come back to your query list. So that's for small culverts inspection already complete with incomplete fields. Next one is the same thing, but it's for drop inlets, and it's going to run through the same exact process as what we did, but it's only going to be identifying drop inlets that have incomplete fields within them. And you can do the same thing. You can either export that into a spreadsheet, or you can bring it into your attribute table so that you can filter out just your district's data. So invalid inspection date. This was designed to find some of the inspection dates that were entered in that were kind of bogus values is what we could see, because we have a estimated begin date for small culvert re-inspections, and the date that I entered into this query to search for invalid data is set for, as you can see right here, it shows the query is set for any time before April of 2016. So we know that we didn't issue this application, the official application, anytime before then, so there shouldn't be any inspection dates prior to this date here. So what I wanted to allow you guys to do is to find all of them culverts that have an inspection date before April of 2016, so that we can go through and give them a more realistic inspection date. We're not sure how or why some of these features have that bogus inspection date in there, but for them to be able to be categorized correctly and come off the map, they need to be within the proper inspection window that we know that was set. So once we start looking into the small culverts, this is where we found some inspection dates with a bogus date that we want to find. So this should find some dates. So we'll try District 9 first. So they do have 0 in District 9. Try 8. Okay, so there's 5 in District 8. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the districts, but what it will do is it'll highlight them for you within your district. As you can see, they're little green, highlights the culvert green. And we can actually go to that culvert, click on it, and just see we have tired. Inspection complete. Inspection date, December 31st of 2015. So I don't think anyone was out there in December 31st of 2015, and I know the application wasn't ready then, so this would be a bogus date. So we'd want to update this. Okay. And this actually leads well right into our next set of tools, and I think we'll stay right in this area for right now to use this as an example. So what we want to do is we want to clear, actually I don't think you have to clear the results. What you can do is just move this guy up here, and our next widget down in the bottom is the batch attribute editor. So what this is going to allow you to do is select multiple features at one point. So multiple features at the same time, and update the same fields within them features all at once, instead of clicking on this one, start editing, go to the field that you want, update it, and go to this one, start editing, update that field, and then go to this one. You can do them all at once. So I'll show you how that works. We have a couple different types of selection tools down bottom here. So you can either use a point, so that's a single point, you just highlight one feature if you want. You have a square, so you can draw an actual extent on the screen, like so. So we see 3 culverts in this area right here. Let's say we know that the inspection date was the same on all 3 of those. So we want to just hold down your mouse and highlight them 3 with the rectangle selection tool, and it brings up all the attributes for them 3 features. And whatever attribute you know is the same across the board for them 3 features, you can go ahead and change that. So let's say it was inspection date. We could drop that down and give it a new inspection date. Okay? Another tool, another type of selection tool here is basically, instead of having just a square, if you were at a larger scale, so let's say we were way out here, you can go ahead and just do single clicks and draw a polygon around the culverts that you know need all the same attribute updates. Just like drawing a new polygon. And then once you get done, you're going to double click and it'll select all of them within that polygon. And again, the same thing, figure out which field you want to update across the board on all features, and go ahead and do that. The other one is freehand polygon. This is kind of cool. If you have a large scale like this and you want to just weave in and out of some of these culverts, so let's say you know that this one here that I'm pointing at, this little one here, needs to be selected, but the next one down doesn't, but this one does, and the next one down doesn't, and this does, so you're alternating. You can go ahead and free draw your line, your polygon, all around whatever one that you want, right? And then come back around, and it's only going to select those ones that you hit within that polygon by freehand drawing. You see how it left that one not selected, and it only selected these 2 that I actually drew the polygon through, which is kind of cool. And you can clear your results right here just by hitting clear. And this can be used for multiple other reasons. It doesn't have to be used just for the inspection date. There's obviously, you can do it to any feature that's within the map that's editable, and you can update any one of the fields within them features as needed. Don't matter if it's the sediment levels, if you know those are all good, or if you know all the GPS positions are good. It's actually made to use in sequence with the invalid, or not the invalid field, but the missing values within the field's query. So you can target. We're going to clear this list. Task. Come back. So incomplete fields. It's made to use in sequence with this filter so that you can go ahead and start populating all of them missing fields. Okay, and then next widget down we've already seen, but it's the layer list, and you can go ahead and turn on and off whatever features that you need. Instead of clicking them individually like I did just barely, you can actually come right into here and turn all layers off, or you can turn all layers on, as well as you can expand all the layers so you can see what the actual features look like within the legend. Then you can collapse them all. The next widget we have here is just the standard edit tool. So you can also add features within this application. So use this application if you're reviewing your data within the office, and let's say somebody in the field gives you information on changes that need to be made on certain culvert, and you know the PID. You can use the culvert PID query to zoom to that specific PID, and then you can go ahead and use the edit tool to make adjustments to that culvert. So whether it's just updating the attributes within there, making changes to the attributes, or creating actual features. So within the edit window, it's got this little handy drop-down window where instead of scrolling all the way down through here and trying to find the feature that you want to create new on the map, you can go ahead and just drop down this here, and it gives you a list of all the features that are editable and allow you to create new features within here. Okay. And everybody's pretty much trained up on how to create them new features and put them on the map. The next feature that we have here, hence the name of the actual application, Small Culvert Inspection Progress Viewer. I wanted to give everyone the ability to, like I said, track your small culvert reinspection progress over time. So up at the top banner here, you have a link called Ops Dashboard. If you click on that, it'll bring you directly to our progress dashboard for the small culvert inspection progress. So as you can see, it gives us a statewide total here on a gauge, and also it gives us a progress by district. And this will be the most accurate reference to track the progress of your culverts. This is all based on, this progress number is all based on which culverts actually have an inspection date. So if you do not have an inspection date, you forgot to enter it in, or it's bogus, so it's not inside the tolerance, it will not get put into this percent complete. So you may think that you have way more complete, but you want to go back and check to make sure each one of those features has a valid inspection date filled out within the attribute table, and then it will be recorded on this progress tracker here. And as you can tell, some people have exceeded their 20% for the year, and everybody is very close. And that's a great number to see here, 15% statewide. For the first year, that's amazing. That's very good. So also up in the banner up top here, we have a link to our latest and greatest field manual. And as we make changes, I will repost this field manual here to this link, so you can access this directly from your desktop computer. And we also have one. We also have a copy of this field manual within the collector application on your iPad too. If you go to the details tab within the iPad, you'll see a link to this, and it'll bring this document up on your iPad as well. So this is where the latest and greatest field manual will always stay, right here, for your reference. And the final feature I want to show you with this application, so I wanted to let everybody know that we are pretty much 100% complete our initial inventory of small culverts. So it's almost been a decade of statewide small culvert inspections, and we are coming to an end on the initial inspection. So basically getting a initial inspection on every single culvert that has been installed in the state of Vermont. We know that there are areas that you know of that we missed, or they're not showing up on the map for some reason, and basically I created this feature within this map for you to assist us with targeting these areas that you know of, that there are culverts along the roadway, in the field, and within your area, but you cannot see them on our map at all. So they're missing, or they were never collected or inspected. So what I developed here is, so if you go to your edit tool, we will have a feature within here called Missing Inventory Sections. And what we're going to want you to do is use that feature, Missing Inventory Sections. We're going to want you to use that feature to highlight the areas on the roadway where you know that we're missing inventory on culverts. Okay? So what you would do is open up your edit window, edit widget, just like I did here, and find your feature that you want to start editing. Move this guy out of the way. Let's say this segment of 279 we knew that had, or you knew that had culverts crossing it, but they are not showing up on this map, as you can see. What you're going to do is you're going to confirm that area by either field reviewing it or looking at it on the map and referencing where you found these missed segments in the field. And you're going to go ahead and just start drawing a line right down the center of the roadway within that area. So you're just highlighting that segment of roadway, letting us know that in that area there is estimated number of culverts. Let's say you found 2 culverts, and the general comment can be VT279 Bennington, if you want. Right. And go ahead and hit close, and what it's going to do is it's going to create a red mark, a red lined segment in that area, and that will allow us to be able to go back through this map and this data and isolate all of these areas that you're saying there's culverts and that we have missed, and we'll be able to send out field crew, or maybe ask, depending on the complexity of the culvert network, you may be able to just pick up these culverts with your iPads. If they're a large segment, and let's say it's a large DI network, and it's going to require more accurate data collection than what the GPS iPads can do, we'll go ahead and use our Trimble data collectors to go out and get a more accurate collection of those culverts. So please, if you know of areas along your roadway that have a significant amount of culverts within it, or the complexity is too detailed to be able to draw with your iPad, go ahead and highlight those areas using this feature, and we will put together a plan to come collect them or work with you on the collecting methodology that we'd like to see used. There's a couple other things, a couple additions that we have made, and I just activated within the attribute table for these features. So when you go to click on these features now, and you scroll towards the bottom, you're going to see 3 new fields, okay? And based on feedback from the districts and people that are using this data, we have designed these fields to allow for easier, more user-friendly functionality while conducting these re-inspections, as well as target certain fields to be able to track the, let's say, functionality of some of these pipes. Because as we get more familiar with these structures, we want to be able to see them in different ways on the map to assist in planning or for re-inspection purposes or prioritization on which ones we want to re-inspect first, or just to highlight and bring to attention other folks or management so that these culverts can be properly attended to. So again, functionality change is new. New install is going to be a new field, and deleted record. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the actual field manual so that we can just go over these fields real quick, so you know what our requirements are for filling out these fields. Okay, so here is the field manual. And if we scroll down towards the bottom here, okay, so within the field manual, it's going to be starting on page 26, and we call it functionality or action taken on features. And the first one is going to be a functionality change, okay? So within the attribute table, so let's say if we want to start editing this, and we scroll down to the bottom, and we get to let's see here, So what we need to do, okay, so in your attribute table, you're going to see functionality change, new install, and delete record. If you drop down the functionality change, you're now going to be able to see abandoned, discontinued, and undersized. So for a description on what each one of these selections actually means and when you would use them, is inside the field manual. So abandoned, discontinued, and undersized. Again, on see page 26. So, a little description on this field. We added in a functional change. So records a permanent change in the functionality of the culvert due to intentional reasonings as well as culverts that are out of tolerance by VTrans policy. Meaning out of tolerance is the undersized selection that you can choose right here for the functionality change, and that is for all the culverts that are under 18 inches crossing a state route. They should all be 18 inches and larger, so if you find 15s or whatever, we can mark them as undersized, so we can highlight these areas and get them removed and replaced. So abandoned. Culvert has been intentionally unmaintained due to a change in the ditching or drainage design within the area, or is no longer needed to direct drainage. An example, old field access drive pipe that no longer gets used or sees drainage. Okay, so you're going to find some abandoned pipes out there that are no longer being used, and they have no real functionality reasoning of where they are, but they are a void, either underneath our roadway or within our right-of-way, so we do want to put them on the map. Discontinued. Culvert has intentionally been plugged with a foreign object to seize its ability to accept drainage. An example, new drainage structures have been installed in the area, and this culvert is no longer needed, but not removed. And it has a further description on page 34 that you can go and look at a later time. And undersized. Culvert does not meet VTrans policy on minimum culvert size requirements on U.S. and state routes and state access drives. Crossing U.S. or state highway minimum is 18 inches. Crossing state maintained access drive minimum is 15 inches. So if there's anything that is smaller in diameter than what these requirements are, we need to mark them as undersized so we can treat them as necessary. Okay, so let's see here, so that's for functionality change. So for new install, there's going to be 3 selections. It's either a replacement, so a new pipe is going in and the old one's coming out. New construction, so this is a new constructed area of roadway, say like the Morrisville bypass or this bypass here, the 279 area in Bennington. If there's new construction of roadway and new culverts are going in, please label them as new construction culverts so that we know where the brand new culverts are going in order to identify these areas for future re-GPS collection with a more accurate device, like I explained earlier. Also, there's discovered. So inside new install, sometimes you will find a pipe out there that we haven't, kind of like what we're asking you to do with the missed inventory segments. These culverts, as you find them and they're discovered, label them as discovered so we know which ones were never in our inventory beforehand. And then last here we have delete record. So this is to delete any record within the map. So as you already know now, there's no way that you guys can actually delete the culverts off the map. So this is going to give you the ability to do so. And this should only be used for culverts that were unintentionally placed on the map during initial inventory, where a inspector thought there may have been a culvert there but wasn't sure, and it was not validated by a local maintenance worker, and you came across that area during reinspection and you know 100% sure that there is not a pipe there, but it shows up on the map and there was never a pipe there, and it was just an assumption at the original time, and you want to get that culvert off from the map. So you need to delete it. So all you're going to do is just drop down and you're going to say yes, delete that record. Okay, and that'll put it into, it'll take it off from your map. Also, this is for if you are creating features and you found a new culvert in a location and you want to create a new culvert and you mess up somehow, or you didn't plan on adding a new feature in and you accidentally added a culvert in and it doesn't allow you to delete, mark it for deletion this way and it'll come off the map. Okay, so those are our 3 new fields, and they're all explained inside the new field manual. And you will be able to find that field manual at the top of your ribbon. Field manual here. You'll be able to access that. So what I did miss from the beginning is how to find this application, and it's pretty typical, like opening up any of your other web maps. What you would do is we would come to our home page, right? And we'd sign in. Sign into ArcGIS Online. Once it opens up, immediately you can come right up to the search bar up in the top right hand corner and just type in Culvert. Hit enter. Everything associated with culverts will come up. On the left hand side within the categories, you're going to want to just click on apps, and then it'll only show the apps that you are part of within a group or you have access to, and go ahead and just find Small Culvert Inspection Progress Viewer, and you can open that right up and it'll bring you right to this application. We have a disclaimer that shows up when you first come into it. It's pretty standard, just letting you know an overview of giving you an overview of what this is, this application is designed for, and that reminding you that the layers are scale dependent, so make sure you zoom in so that you can see the layers on the map. Other than that, it's pretty standard based off from all of our other applications. And feel free to contact me. If you hit the little identify button up in the top right hand corner, my contact information is there. Contact me